Marissa and I came out to Moya Elementary School, is that right? And we've just done a redesign of Heather's classroom. Heather is a kindergarten teacher. Wait, Heather, say hello. Heather is a kindergarten teacher. She has about 22 students, and this is a classroom for English language learners. And we were so fortunate to have Jen's help too. Jen is the K2 literacy specialist. So the four of us, it was great. We sort of put our heads together thinking about, one, the kind of furniture she had, how could we set things up, but it was really helpful to be reminded of what kinds of things were required to be in the classroom while we were supporting children in having really good experiences in here. When you walk in the door, and please know this is such a work in progress.
Yeah, I want to make sure, I'm Marissa back here holding the camera, that this classroom is not done, okay? This is what happens when we flip these classrooms. There's still the added embellishments and the details, the strategic materials that are going to be placed out. We just come in and we give
the basic, skeleton
the layout.
Of the classroom. The layout of classrooms is that we have so many materials and we put them on shelves and things. And then Marissa and I come in and say, oh, if those shelves are on the level for children, then there should be materials on there that are accessible to children. So what often happens is it creates this situation of, well, then where do we put this? So Heather has some really nice storage in here, but some decisions need to be made of what's going to be out and what goes in each area. But we think it's a really delightful layout and one that the children are going to really respond to and really support them doing wonderful things. When the children first come in, over here there's an area where they'll be able to sign in. They might start out by just signing in that they are here, I'm here, or I'm at school or not at school, but eventually it may turn into questions. Marissa told us about a really good question where maybe the children answer the question, have you ever been worried? Or another one that I really like is, have you ever had lunch or breakfast for lunch? Something like that. So something that, or where do you shop? All kinds of things can be used. This area here is the math area. She's got a shelf here that's going to be used for math manipulatives. Some of these are hard to see what's in here, so a suggestion is if these cubes if the connecting cubes are what's in here, it might be helpful to actually glue some on the outside with a hot glue gun or something so children readily know what's in there, and if ever possible, thinking about using the clear containers. There's some clear containers here as well, and some materials could just be on the shelves. And here's a table that's right by it, so we think that one of the things that children will really understand is materials from here can quickly be put over here. They also, if they needed to, could take things over to the large group area and do them on that rug. Then moving over here, we have the start of an art area. And one of the things that may possibly happen is that Heather will take off these the doors which will open up all kinds of space for shelving, and then there's paint brushes. Paint will be here. Children will be able to bring things over to here. There are drawers that will have materials for the children to be able to use. There will be a variety of things. Not only will be paint, but there's glue and paste, glue sticks. There will be magazines that children can cut up for collage. And their masterpieces are going to go on here. There's going to be a string hung, and then the children can clip their pictures on there. This, rather than saying student work, is going to change to a sign that says this art gallery or maybe the student gallery to indicate that it's their pieces of work. In this classroom, and I think in most classrooms, we really want to be emphasizing language. So one of the things that we talked about is helping children to title their artwork, just like many great pieces of art. Indeed, we talked about Starry, Starry Night, many of those things. So helping children come up with titles for their work. There's also going to be here strings run across and clips so that children can hang work. And then maybe some linoleum under here, so things that are still a little bit wet can be hung here to dry. There's also a desk if someone wants to work in a one-person place. We're hoping that easel might come into the classroom as well, which will let children do yet a different kind of art and use those bigger movements.
Just trying to take advantage that this space does have not only a bathroom in the classroom,
it's so good.
but it has a sink and water accessibility.
And then it allows children to really prepare some of their own art materials as well as clean up after themselves. In the art area, we're moving into the literacy and publishing area, where there is, again, a lot of the materials that are shared with art, like markers, scissors, glue sticks, staplers, things like that. But on this side, there's more materials to encourage children to make journals, to engage in writing materials. Down here, there are some letters. And one of the things that Heather is going to add into this basket is a ring with words. And it might start out with everyone's name in the classroom, and then they can match those letters to the plastic letters that are under there. She's also going to be putting some sentence strips that are starters for the kinds of things that the children might want to be writing about. There's a lot of books. Ideally, we know this is not the way to store books, that children don't choose them as easily as they do when they can see the cover, but this is what was available. So many of the books, and she has so many wonderful books, that they are here. One of the things that might eventually be helpful is putting these books in bins so the children can flip through this way and see the covers of them, because they're much more likely to do it. So and the books could be sorted, so song books could be here, and animal books could be here, things like that, which would help them. But this is a great start in getting things going. There's some little cozy spots
To read little
and Heather had
notes.
these great little camp chairs where people can sit. The addition of plants, which just softens it up. One thing with children is we know that they read better when they read to stuffed animals than they do when they're reading to a teacher.
Yeah.
So having a few stuffed animals that they can use as well as doing that. Here is where they can actually build sentences. And one of the nice things that Jen mentioned to us is that there's these individual pockets that really helps to reinforce that these letters
Words.
that come together are a word,
Yeah.
and that there's a separation between this word and the next word and the next word. So they can she'll have a lot of their words in a basket here that they can choose from. They can create a sentence and then work to write that sentence as well. This area moves into the science area. So like many people, Heather had this horseshoe table, and we thought it kind of gave a way to get children to be able to face each other and look, and this mirror just added some light to the area, make it a little bit more appealing. And Heather had and Marissa brought in some pieces of wood. These are actually from the ends of Marissa's Christmas tree.
Yeah, from last year.
Yeah, so giving children something to look at with the magnifying glasses. There's some scales back here, and as Heather comes up with more of the tools of science, those will also be added. The whiteboard in the back is going to be used for anchor charts, as well as a word wall specific to science.
Yeah.
So they might talk about the rings of the trees and parts of trees and things like that, or whatever it is that they're focusing on. They're going to be going into talking about the weather a lot. So what are the kind of words that will help the children when they want to write in the journal? So they have journals here that they can use to write about science topics as well. They had their own individual journals over in the other area.
And then this would be like another science spot for one person to do some type of focused activity, right? A provocation.
So I think it's good that children have a choice of sometimes working alone, or sometimes working in just a group of two, or with small groups. This is the Socio-Dramatic area, and there are some babies. The babies are in the basket so that the children can get them when they want to work with them. There is a number of the board books that are there available to read to the baby dolls. A little area for cooking materials there. Lots of books put out here, a lot of books about family, about food, those kinds of things. A place to sit at the table. There's a little reading area, a couple pet dogs that are in her classroom as well. And also a little desk area to encourage children to be using their literacy skills in the socio-dramatic area. There's somewhere, isn't there somewhere there's some coupons and things
Yes.
for them?
Yeah. So
here.
we set up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I put a newspaper there, and I was even suggesting like, let's cut out. Let's piece some scissors and cut
here's
out.
a place that they can make
a
their
list.
grocery list, things like that
And
as well.
yeah, and again, like this is just using what we already had of materials to create this space. So I just want to say, like, with what we had, the energy of the room, the ambiance completely changed. It just really widened up the space too.
Yes, yeah. And it's now, there's more small areas where children can work in small groups and also feel like they're kind of contained in an area, which helps children to really focus on what they're doing. This is the construction area, or the block area. And in lieu of having the unit blocks, which we know are really expensive and often people don't have them anymore, Heather was able to find several different types of building materials, so children will be able to choose. She has the Lincoln logs over here, some painted blocks over here, and then some natural colored ones of many different shapes. And then she added a overhead projector, which is used to be able to put shapes on here. One of the things that's going to change is this board is going to be cut off here, and there will be a white paper here, or perhaps a shower board where the children can actually draw those shapes.
Sketch it out,
And
measure
then they could take that over to the art area, they could paint it, they could draw on it more, or they might bring some markers over here to add to that. So a lot of great ways to use the overhead projector. She had a Christmas tree over here. This could be used as a Christmas tree if everyone in the classroom indeed does celebrate Christmas, but it also can just be the woods.
Yep.
So it can just be a prop here where they have trees and are building things around there also. And then that just, she used her desk to actually be one of the
we moved her desk
sides of this, which is great. Yeah.
No judgment here.
Right, yeah. That's where we piled a lot. Her classroom looked very neat.
Yes.
And then we pulled a lot of things out.
I want to just really quickly show in this video an authentic calendar. I love this. Like, this is a concept that we're trying to incorporate more in the kindergarten classroom just with our young children, because the concept of time and events, and they did this.
You can see it. You can see their drawing, and then Heather, they dictated to you. Is that correct? Yeah.
Right.
And then eventually there will also be a tinkering area in the classroom. There's some logistics to work out with that, and as we've said a few times here, we've piled up so many of our things that we've taken up some of the space that will eventually get turned over. But we wanted you also to have a chance to say hello to Heather.
Yes. All right. Give me some reflections about your experience.
Well, I'm excited. It was neat to see how we took just regular desks and put them together to create little learning areas, and it's going to be fun for the students. I think they'll have more engaging learning activities, which I'm excited for that. So, yeah, and a lot more language development, which I think that's going to be really great. So,
yeah.
How about you, Jen? What are you thinking?
Any reflections from our K2 strategist, literacy strategist?
Your help was really
well, for me, it's the balance of developing language and literacy, since that's the foundation for them to become fluent readers, which, and you all speak to too, is not getting them ready for first grade, for second grade. It's just getting them ready for life. And I think we so harshly judge the kindergarten classrooms like it's such a tough job. Most of our students haven't had any formal education or classroom experience, and then they come in and the teachers are expected to set up this classroom to look a certain way because you don't know what you don't know, and we have to develop both the social and emotional components of our students in conjunction with building their language. And so I think this lends itself more. It just feels warmer in here. I think kids are going to talk more in this environment, and for them to interact with one another, which oftentimes they're sitting at. And that was like just, eye-opening to me in your training when you talked about like there's this switch from like preschool to kindergarten to all of a sudden it has to look like a third grade classroom. They're still little and they need this warm, caring environment that
is still compliant, that is still rigorous as well. We covered that and what language we're going to use with our administrators, those folks that are walking in.
But it feels very welcoming.
Yes.
And very much appropriate for 5 and 6 year old children.
Well, and a lot of our kids, and we talk about this too, like we serve a low socioeconomic area, and they might not come from the most warm environments, and we don't know where they're coming from, but we know what we can do for them here. Yes. So if we know that this is a consistent, warm, caring, loving area, but is also has high expectations and it's rigorous, then we're meeting their needs that might not be getting met somewhere else. So that's important to me.
All right, thanks guys.
Yeah.